Hey bike farmers, thanks for clicking in. Here we are, part 4 of my 1992 Trek 950 restoration project. It's more than a restoration. It's not actually a restoration, right? It's a resto mod. I don't know what. Turning this into an all-terrain bike packing, bug-out bike, all-arounder, general purpose, really cool, fun, fast, easy to ride, comfortable, go anywhere, whatever I want to do with it bike. So I hope that clears everything up of where we're going in this project. Part 3 was what I would call a first draft build. I had these Jones H bars and this Thompson stem, both really cool parts, but not doing it for me. So I have ordered a new stem. I've got some bars here that aren't the bars I want to finish with, but they're going to be good enough for now. Shop Dog Cycles on eBay was kind enough to bring me a Tioga Avenger headset. So the actual proper headset for this is like a brand new one. I found some brand new bearings in the bins. So I'm going to take this whole front end apart and rebuild the whole thing and show you what I figured out for this cable hanger here. I figured out a cool thing. I'm going to switch the tires, even though I love these Compass, still branded Compass tires. I'm going to put nobbies. So I'm going to use these tires on a different build. I've got lots of cool things coming up. I'm going to have 3 bikes that are all very similar, but slightly different. And these are going on one of those. I've got some different pedals. There's been a bike swap and I got some new parts. Fenders, racks, bottle cages, a bell, and I don't know what else I'm forgetting. Ooh, some dice valve caps. Hey. We are going to accessorize and finish this bike in this video. Should be kind of fun. You can see all the little tricks and, there's a lot of problem solving with this one, getting everything to fit and look good and be right. So you kick back and relax. I'm going to get started. First thing I'm going to do is take everything apart up front here. I also feel like it's pretty easy to lose the little bits here. Fine. Yeah, I want to get a little more upright, maybe back a bit. It's going to be hard to do both with what I've got, and I'm really struggling to find the right bars. I think the easiest way here is just to take this faceplate off. It's good. We've got one more swap coming up in Milwaukee in a couple of weeks, so if I get this project out of the way, then I know which parts I can get rid of. Oh, I dropped my wrench. Just using a 3mm Allen key is way more better hay for that job. Loosen this guy up. Okay. So now, there goes something. I'm not being careful. I should be more careful than I am. It's fine. Jones H bars, I mean, they're kind of the first ones to do it. It's just, there's not enough rise. I mean, there's no rise, they're flat, They come back the way I like, but I just want them up a bit. Oh man, I'm dropping things left and right here. Put these shifters together a little bit so we don't lose parts. Gravity gets the best of us. Because it's going to be a bit before we got to take it apart. And actually, this might have been easier all along if I took this front wheel off, so I'll do that quick. I'll switch the tires anyway. And now I don't have any leverage on that. Okay, I got her. So this can come out. Now, this will hopefully be able to show you what's going on here. So what we have here is a threadless adapter. So this is like a quill to threadless adapter doohickey. And then this here is the fancy Paul Components cable hanger, right? And then if you see right here, this is actually a shim that's also acting as a spacer. Normally, if I can get this all taken apart, you can see the Paul cable stop doesn't fit on this quill stem, right? But I found this shim magically in my magic bins, and it fits perfectly on that. So the shim actually shims this to be the right diameter for everything, which kind of acts as a spacer then, so it goes in like that. Now, it isn't to the minimum insertion point, so technically speaking it's not safe, but I feel like it's safe enough for me, and I'm going with it. You know, worst case scenario is I could cut this down and get a little bit more depth in there, but this quill adapter looks to be pretty tough. I think we'll be just fine how it is. I don't think Ralph Nader is gonna be knocking on my door and handing out tickets for doing this. But anyway, this awesome Thompson Elite X4, back in the bins with it. Rejected. You know, it's just not fancy enough for the bike farmer. Yeah, I mean, there's somebody that keeps commenting about adjusting headsets in the stand and it being like bicycle maintenance 101 or bike mechanics 101 to only adjust headsets when the bike's on the ground. You know, it's one of those comments where it's just critical, it's not helpful, like they don't give a reason why or explain the theory behind that, but I've been thinking about it. So good job, you got me thinking about it. I'm rejecting your criticism. I think my way is just fine, but I'm all ears to why you think it's so important to have the bike on the ground to adjust, you know, a threaded headset like this. And then somebody else was like, yeah, and then he, you know, takes a pedal wrench and I put it through the fork to kind of get torque, you know, instead of using two wrenches a lot of times. That's something I've done forever, and I don't know, I've never really had a problem with it, so. But I do like learning new things. I guess I'm less open to just straight up criticism just so people can feel better about themselves. I'm less open to that, but I'm all open to improvement and better ideas, so bring it on. Yeah, this is cool. Thank you, Mike. This headset is like brand spanking new. New old stock. Shop dog cycles on eBay. It's hard for me to put myself in your shoes, you know? Like a lot of this stuff, if you don't have a used bike shop and a constant supply of bikes and, you know, a YouTube channel where this is what you do and just like bike stuff and bike parts just kind of happen and you dig through your own bins full of garbage, you've got eBay, right? And like Mike works really hard to go around. He travels around to shops and swaps and whatever and just buys and gobbles stuff up and then resells it on eBay. And he's got a great selection there. And this is not paid content. He's just a friend, local. He's a couple hours away and He works, does a lot of work with charity, you know, because processing all that stuff, you end up with stuff that doesn't really sell that well, but it has plenty of charitable value, and that's how I got connected with him. And it's just good, nice family business. You can feel good about it. It's good money. So go to Shop Dog Cycles. And I've seen a couple of you in the comments saying good things, so it's always fun to see. Good collaboration, good partnerships. It's good business. Okay, so get some grease in the cup here. Get some grease in my bearing retainer here. We're going to put this seal on, upside down probably, and put these bearings in. They're probably upside down too. Here's our top cup. Way too much grease. It's all right, it's cheap. They're still making it. Back in the early days, you know, when I was learning all the headsets, everything was threaded. And I would be cobbling together headsets with bins of headset parts to try to get used bikes to work for Budget Bicycle Center in Madison, you know, college bikes. And I would always get everything upside down all the time. You know, I really was establishing myself at a young age as a bona fide mistaker. You know, a mistaker is one who makes mistakes. I'm really good at it. We need more what you call it, more spacers. Here's the headset spacer box. I just ordered a whole bunch. The ones we want here are keyed. Here's one that's a little different color. That's kind of fun. That's probably good enough. This one's better, I think. Nah. We're gonna use that. I like that. It's got a little bit of silver in there. Just a little bit of wrongness. The hack effect. Alright. So, we've got that. Oh man, it's silky smooth, but a little tight. So if you put that thin headset wrench right there and then tighten down the lock nut. Right now, essentially what I'm doing is backing off that top cup, loosening things just a smidge, not much. And that's like really silky smooth. Now, if you can tell me why in hell I'd ever need the bike or want the bike on the ground to do this, like why is that 101? Why is that Bike Mechanics 101? I don't know, because that's just exactly perfect. It's really good. So this is the adapter, right? And then this is my shim. And this is my new stem. It's a Nitto stem. Nitto or Nitto? You tell me. Let us know in the comments. So we still have the spacer here. I'm gonna slide it all the way up. Okay. The stem fits on our adapter just fine. Those were made to work together. This was made to fit in there. But we can't forget about our cable hanger. Okay, and the cable hanger now clamps on to the spacer. Okay, and we'll put that all the way down, and that hides the fact that we have a Tioga Avenger headset, but I know it, and everybody who's seen this video knows it, and we'll mention it on Strava a few times, and then everybody knows it, and that's all that matters. And I just kind of want everything to line up here. Just exactly perfect. It's gonna be tough, okay? And then to tighten it all down, treat this just like a normal quill stem. Look at that, like that, and that, like that. We're gonna give that one of those. I'll give that one of those, okay? So I got like this black and silver thing going, and it's gonna come together. The whole bike is gonna be black and silver, here and there. It's gonna have some good balance. I think the composition of everything will balance out in the end. Okay, so this still spins a little bit. Oh, I wonder if I should be aligning this clamp with the groove on the shim to make it so the shim doesn't spin. Okay, so it doesn't spin if you tighten it. Okay, we're good there. Tighten up our stem. Guten tight. Okay, so this stem is a little bit shorter. It's a centimeter, 10 millimeters shorter, and 3 degrees more upright. It's a 10-degree stem, not a 7-degree stem. So it'll come up and back a tad, and then the bars have some rise, but less sweep. Okay, now if I could find bars with approximately that rise, with the same sweep as the Jones bars, that would be great. But I don't know if those exist. So what I have here are some generic black riser bars. See how they have a little bit of sweep to them and some rise? You know, that's what I'm looking for. And I actually think I'm gonna love these bars, so I might just leave them, even though they're generic. And I don't do generic, I do fancy. It's gotta be name brand and fancy for my bikes, because I am a very fancy boy. We're going to put that shifter there. And this is when I scrape my bars up. And that shifter there. I'd like to say thank you to all of the Europeans that watch this channel, and I picked on you in my last video, and you all took it with stride. Nobody got too worked up about it. And it turns out that it is mostly the British, surprise, surprise, am I right? Who aren't even European anymore anyway, in case you forgot to notice. And, but it's good reason they have their levers flip-flopped. And that is because we can't do two things at once. We can't talk and figure out these puzzles at the same time. It is because of hand signaling, because they ride on the other side of the road with the cars, right? So, oh shit, this is how everything gets scratched and there's no turning back from it. I just did it. Oh yeah. Messed up. Come on. These Paul levers are great, but man, are they machine tight. You know, like how on earth? What is going on here? What is going on here? Used to bowl with a guy. He was on a different team, real nerdy fellow. And when things weren't going his way, if he'd miss a couple spares, oh, what is going on here? That was like 30 years ago. We still talk about it. What a bunch of bullies. Okay. So, here we go. Just scratching the crap out of these bars. They're so cheap. I think, what is it? Are they anodized? I don't know how anodizing works, but it is delicate. It's all right, this bike is made for adventure. Hopefully it'll get all beat up from usage and develop what's known as busage. Okay, I like to try to get equal amount on the top and the bottom of the faceplate when I'm clamping these down, which is always easier said than done. Okay, get it right in the middle. So anyway, you know, black tires, although they are tan sidewalls, but the tire tread is black. And I have a black saddle, and I'm using black pedals. And there's black on the rear derailleur, black headset, right? There's gonna be a black bottom bracket. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. We'll talk about that in a minute here. That'll probably be the next thing we do. You know, all of those black components, and then the black drumlin on the down tube, black housing, all of that. I just thought, you know what? I think black bars with a silver stem is gonna look really cool. So far I'm digging it with the silver components. I think it's gonna be good. That looks close enough for now, at least. See, that I can dial in on the ground, you know? That's like a final fit thing. These aren't the right bar ends, but they're gold, so they look cool. Yeah, that's where those brake levers want to be, right up tight. Shift levers are a whole different animal. Hard to get everything to work without bumping into each other. You kind of want everything to be right there, but it's kind of a novelty thing, I think, which is fine. Not for every customer. Like if I want to make a bike that's like just easy to operate and basic and not something that a customer has to think about riding, it's not the way to go. But for people like me that actually like operating the machine, like I get pleasure out of just operating the machine. It's not necessarily the bike ride. It's riding the bike that I like. Does that make sense? Operating the bike. It's fun to have stuff that's like a little bit of a challenge along the way. But, dropping stuff left and right, yeah. Yeah, so the lever gets to like that point, and then I can kind of reach around and hit it there. But I don't know, I mean, maybe there's a better way. There's 3 different positions it can be in. So that is all the way up in low gear. There. I feel like I could slide this that way quite a bit. I didn't really show this in the rough draft. I don't know how interesting it is. It doesn't seem interesting to me. And it's kind of hard to get all the different angles. It's not the easiest shifter in the world to just try a bunch of different positions. Okay, ready? There we go. So I can have my thumb on it there. A little bit of tweaking in the middle. What gear am I in if I'm right there? Oh, I'm kind of like right in the middle. Yeah, I think I'll try that for now. Still feels like it could be over more, but I like the angle of it. And I'm gonna try to mimic what I'm doing here with the other side. See, you have to take the lever off and then get this tool on it to move it. And then every time you move it, the angle changes a little bit. It'd be nice if you could just have the lever on, loosen it, make your adjustment, you know, not have to take it apart every time. But these are the best feeling levers on the planet. They just have such good haptics. You know, the feedback, the little clickety-clickities. That, nothing like it. And you can get them brand new from Rivendell. The Rivendell Silver 2 shifters are this exact design, I believe. Okay, so that is a very similar position to the rear, but the front only has to go that far because it's a 2-speed, right? So take this lever, see how it's sticking up pretty much perfectly straight up, I guess, if I can see the screen. Okay, so we'll take the doohickey out, and the mamma jamma, we can turn it to the next position over. Now it's kind of sticking out this way, right? You know, it was, you know, like Bill Cosby, and now it's like Bill Clinton. Okay. Oh, but that feels like it's in the way. but it was kind of in the way anyway. So that means that we don't need it to mimic the other side at all. Okay. We're gonna slide this like that. We're gonna tighten her down. You know, because the left shifter is really just high and low. And there's enough gearing, and the chain ring is small enough that, you know, you're just not gonna be using it much. It's gonna be in this position a lot. And then it'll be in this position just going up hills. And I can just get to the bottom of the hill and do that, and then that's not in my way. You can see, that's low gear, that's high gear. Right hand, follow the bars down, and the left hand. Looks pretty good. It's a tricky camera angle. It always wants to focus on the stickers in the back. Alternative tentacles. And this is kind of how it looks from the cockpit. Right? I like it. It's good stuff. I'm into it. Okay, empty our pockets here. Oh, it feels good to sit. I've been battling a back issue, which is really frustrating because I'm supposed to play golf in like 4 or 5 days, and I just can't imagine really swinging right now. And I was really dialing in a good swing, and now I just feel like I'm going to be in a recovery period, but that's how it goes. You know, a lot of people, you just don't understand what it's like to be an athlete, and this is what we have to deal with. You know, it's pretty much all the time. Okay, so if you go through and break the bead all the way around, that can make this part a little bit easier. And these are like brand new, super rubbery, super supple. They smell great tires. So it's kind of hard to get them. You know, they're not all crusty. They don't just go schlick right off over the edge. There we go. So these are my absolute favorite tires, by the way. These are Rene Hurst Rat Trap Pass Slick 26 by 2.3. Absolutely ridiculous road tires, right? But they just float. They're so comfortable. They're fast rolling. It's wonderful. What I'm swapping them for is the same tire. It's just got a little bit of knobby. And these are actually very fast rolling. This is an 11 by 34 cassette. I think 32 is the max with that derailleur that I have. And I'm really not gaining anything except a little extra ridiculous low gear. Which I don't need because I've got a 22 tooth front ring. So 22 or 24, 32 is plenty low. I mean, it's just ridiculously low. Like fully loaded, up straight up a wall, no sweat. Thing practically rides itself. So I have, basically the same cassette, but 32 tooth max cog, and it still has plenty of big cog energy. I'm not gonna put a spoke protector on this bike because I'm not a dork. In my last video, I said that the dork disc thing is just ridiculous, that you know, having a spoke protector makes you a dork, that it's just all a big conspiracy and lies, probably funded by Soros. Nancy Pelosi probably had something to do with it, which I think is obvious. People were offended by that, and I think I had some people unsubscribe. Can you actually believe that is a thing? It's true. I read it on the internet. We're to the point now where making fun of politics means you're being political. I don't know when we got to that point. So this one has a TPU tube in it. You know, one of these. Look at the size of that son of a bitch. So light. TPU tubes are awesome. But I only have one of them because I'm pretty sure I poked a hole in the other one somehow. With installation or whatever. I think they are a little trickier to install just because they don't like hold their shape as well, and so you run the risk of dinging it with a tool. Yeah, so I think these knobby tires and some fenders and racks, this is gonna really make this bike pop. It's gonna make everything look very deliberate. Make me look like a true adventurer. The problem is that now that I play golf again, it's gonna be much harder to get out for adventure. But you guys do like the videos about the adventure, so, you know, I can just go take a work trip here and there. How about that, huh? And I think just for extra fun, I've been holding on to these dice. But since I've got traders in here, dice. Here, we'll put it at an angle for arrow. Oh, look at that. This is a TPU tube in the rear. Oh, baby. I have 2 TPU tubes. But they're Presta. I'll try to reuse them. I'm a fan of the TPU tubes, by the way. I have had problems with them. And I just use the cheap ones from Amazon. I guess I haven't figured out a good way to patch them. And they develop holes that are really hard to find. Yeah. All right, let's talk about fenders. So I've got these SKS longboards. These are wonderful full coverage fenders. Plastic, German. These are black, but in the sunshine, it's kind of got a goldish brownish hue. That's real, and it's gonna look super good on this bike. So I am stoked to be doing one of them. To further complicate matters, I have a dual leg Pletcher kickstand that was on this bike and I reckon wants to be on this bike again. I have cleaned it and lubed it and I'm not just quite exactly sure how it's gonna go. I'm gonna go look into it and then I'll show you. All right. Couple things to consider here. We've got a nice button head bolt, right? That's to take up as little real estate on this side as possible. But I also think I'm worried about the real estate on the other side because of the kickstand bolt. But I just checked it and it seems to be all right. And this bolt is a little too short. I don't know though. We want it as short as possible. We're always kind of guessing with this sort of thing. It's never really straightforward. God, I really wish I had my 3mm right here in my pocket. It's easy to get at. Oh, it's wrong. I want the 4mm, which is right here in my pocket too. God, I'm good. Oh, not enough. Let's do, drop my leather washer. I'm gonna put a leather washer in between the fender and the frame. And that leather washer doesn't have a big enough hole in it. So we'll take the reamer and try to make it a little bigger. Threading on that leather washer. Okay, that'll get smooshed into place. That's good. Okay. It's good. Now it's good and tight. So now the question is, can that bolt and bracket and everything work with that frame washer and everything in there? Let's still get this monster kickstand on here, right? We have a little bit of a problem with the front derailleur here, and man, getting at that front derailleur bolt, that's problematic. To adjust the front derailleur tension, we got to get down here. There is no barrel adjuster involved. Well, let's just kind of see what happens. I know this is problematic, but I'm going to move forward anyway. So there's these plastic feet that the kickstand bracket sits on. Trying to get them into position here. Easier said than done. Holy cannoli. I can't figure out how to do this. Okay, that one's in. Or at least close enough to... Okay, got that one. And this one, oh man. And we're losing it. Yeah, the bolt is a problem. All right, if I can keep things in place like that and get this finger tight, I should be out of the woods. I should have my wrench ready to go. Ooh, that's good. That's good there. Not easy, but not impossible. There's still hope. So there's pinch points on the frame underneath that are fighting against where the two bolts are connecting. So I've got two opposing forces as I crank down on this. They're not playing nicely together. And the front derailleur cable's in the way. And I can only get a couple, like a quarter turn, an eighth of a turn on anything. This might not be worth it. And now it's hitting there. You know, I don't know if I need those plastic mamma jammas. God, I think it likes it though. Dual kickstands are nice, especially on a fully loaded touring bike, to just be able to like not have to prop it up against things all the time. It's kind of fun for a grocery getter. Front derailleur cable. Oh, there. Helps if you loosen it. second contact point will go there. And then I found this old super light alloy fender bracket that I think will fit right there really nicely. And I like it. I can even bend that over if I want. Don't know why I wouldn't. I think a lock washer, a nylock nut, and there's still some thread locker on that bolt. They ain't going nowhere. Look at that. Fit like glove. It's good clearance. So far that's a really good line, isn't it? Look at that fender line, it just made itself. Oh man, I'm into it. I think it's good. Okay, so I got some stays here that I found in the bins. Hopefully they're long enough. I think we're okay. So the way this works is you take this doohickey, put it through that mamma jamma, and then this sticky wicket gets gnarled up in that thingamajob. For now, you just tighten it so it doesn't go anywhere. And then we get to force the same issue here. Thingamajob, mamma jamma, sticky wicket. Get her past there and over the river, through the woods. Okay. Can you dig it? I don't know how this is gonna work. So sometimes what happens is if these bolts are too long, and I probably should have chased these threads. I chased some threads on the bike. If the bolts are too long, they poke through the other side and the chain hits them. Wow, that's barely poking out the other side. Oh. I think we're okay. It's a little hard to test at this point. I don't know if you can see on this other side, but oh. Okay, so then you get it to this point, and you get your doohickey mamma jammas loosened up. Get your stays above the fender, hopefully. And this is when you find out that nothing's gonna quite work the way you want it to, because you miscalculated. Or not. It's a start. It's not great. Sometimes the stays can be bent, causing weird tension on things. Yeah, so this is like weird. And then that's weird. So I'm just kind of like massaging things into place, really. There's an equilibrium eventually. Just gotta find it. Is the wheel in crooked? Nope. Is the brake still working? Yep. Yeah, it's hitting, I think. So this bolt is just poking out the other side, and it's just enough to cause the chain to bind up. So if I have it in, it can't go anywhere. If I back it out 3 turns, we're good to go. So what I do is I cheat. I just grab a couple extra washers and throw them in there, make a spacer. Yeah, you just need 2 tree spacers in there, and that'll pull it out so it don't interfere with the chain here. We can zoom in out on this action here. And so this is the 32, and I was getting a lot of rubbing down in here. So we're gonna turn in this B screw. Now the B screw kind of puts more tension on the derailleur this way and creates a gap between the pulley wheel and that big cog. Allows us to achieve big cog energy. Way more better, hey? So this just maxes out at 32 teeth. That's all there is to it. I'd have to get a road link in here and add a bit to pull that derailleur down, and then we could go bigger, but we really don't need to on this bike at all. This is a fantastic drivetrain. Into it. All right, so another 15 minutes worth of fender struggle. Who's up for that? You know, the whole fender wants to go that way. It's like as if we get a crooked start to it way down at the bottom. What a pain in the ass it would be to figure that out. Well, that kind of helps. I can spread that. Spread these guys out a bit. All right. It's just not the best. Not the best I've ever seen. You know, I'm kind of feeling with my hands here. See what's even. It's just not a super tasty fender line. Over the fender line, keep pushing me, keep pushing my love. This bike is definitely pushing my love over the fender line. Yeah, you see how much tread you can see around there? That's just like not that exciting to me. I'm not thrilled with this fender fitment. I mean, you're getting full coverage still. It's better than nothing, but it's not great. Okay, and then you have these things. They're like caps you put on the ends, all right? But that one is way too long. Right in my face. Keep pushing my love. Right? That's cute. So cute. Cut. Man, it's almost the right tool for the job.